interviewed at Google twice this year, and I reached the hiring committee round both the times, but I got rejected. These questions were kind of nice because we actually had written below them if we need to find the optimal solution or we just need to give the best solution for that problem. It is asked by many, but we have the tendency to say geeks for geeks and lead code at the end of the day. She tried and gave me real life situations where I had she gave me a hypothetical applications idea and had to show them what designing strategies I would use.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Hello everyone, I am Kushal Vijay and this is Sales Programmer. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. तो आज हमारे साथ हैं कशिश मदन जिन्होंने रिसेंटली अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस जैसी बड़ी कंपनी में ऑफ कैंपस इंटर्नशिप क्रैक करी है। तो बहुत ही बेहतरीन सा एक्सपीरियंस था उनका, उन्हें रिजेक्शंस भी फेस करे और इंटरेस्टिंगली उन्हें ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली। एक्चुअली काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग सा वीडियो होने वाला है, वीडियो एंड तक देखना। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। So first of all, thank you Kashish for accepting my invite for this session. I hope the session will help a lot of students. So let's get started. First, please briefly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Kashish and currently I'm pursuing BTech in Computer Science from Manipal University, Jaipur. I'll be graduating this year in 2021 and I'm working as an intern at American Express for now and hopefully will join them later on.
Okay, great. So how actually you got this opportunity? I mean, was it because of any hackathon or via LinkedIn? So how you got that?
So it's an interesting story. So basically it was a hackathon and I wasn't participating in that. It was through TechGig. But fortunately I was registered to their regular emails and everything. And suddenly I got an email from them that they are hiring as well for people who are not participating in the hackathon. So the hackathon was TechGig Geek Goddess and they sent us link through which we can just give an MCQ test and we will be shortlisted later on for the online coding assessment and later on for the further stages. So I wasn't a part of the hackathon, but it was a hackathon for the hiring process. The link was shared with us to just apply for the job using our resume and everything. So I did that and luckily I'm here now.
Great. So what is the complete hiring process? Can you elaborate that?
Yeah, sure. So basically this was an off-campus process, so I'll be going through that. I'm not sure about on-campus goes through. So basically what happened was I went through the TechGig MCQ test, but this was solely by the TechGig people, okay? So we were given this MCQ test, we had the minimum cutoff, I think it was around 70%. We had to do attempt the test. After this, since our resume was already submitted to TechGig, they would send the shortlisted people, like all the people who have that 70% minimum criteria, to American Express's HR team and everybody. And then the process is taken care by the American Express's team. So after that MCQ test, you go through a Codility test. On Codility, you go through a coding test. The coding test for me was about 2 hours and I had around 3 questions. These questions were kind of nice because we actually had written below them if we need to find the optimal solution or we just need to give the best solution for that problem. In the case that we don't have to care about the complexity or we really have to. So for me, the first 2 questions was something that I had to write optimally, like maybe order of 1, order of n, or maybe order of n log n. And the third solution had to be, it could be n cube as well. Like you just had to find the solution. It was okay if you don't care about the complexity there. It had to be the right one. So I went through that. After that, we had 3 rounds of interview. The first and second was technical interviews. The third one was kind of an HR one, but since it is taken by the director of engineering or director of technology people, so it is kind of not an HR. It is kind of a technical plus HR.
Okay, great. And then finally you got the offer.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So during your whole journey, how projects help you?
So projects really play an important part because you see, when you're in school or when you're in college, you have to actually see that people believe in you, that you have the talent to enter into the corporate world so early, like when you're still in college. So for senior people, they have work experience to depict that. They have their own projects, the level of experience that they have. For us, we don't have that. We kind of try to put our best foot forward using our projects. You just show what you have actually made and then you show them you have potential to work on their tech stack as well. So for me, I would just say that projects are important and the domain of projects also play an important role because that is why you are here. If you're applying for a machine learning intern job and you don't have projects in machine learning, how will you show them that you are the right person for the job? Yeah. So in that case, projects really help. Internships and projects both, have almost like an equal weightage because when you start explaining that hey, I have interned at this and this company, they actually ask you what have you worked upon, what was your contribution to that. So at the end of the day, it's all your projects and everything that plays a role.
Exactly. So what resources have you used during the preparation, and were those resources paid or unpaid?
So that's a nice question, because it is asked by many, but we have the tendency to say geeks for geeks and lead code at the end of the day. A lot of things play an important role in that. Your peers also play an important. They are also kind of a resource that you are using. Your teachers, in college, when they teach you very basic things, you think at that moment that it is not important, but it really is. They are asked in your interviews. So, like for example, if I was in my computer networks class, I didn't care if what IP config was, what these things were. But when they were asked in my interview, I knew, they played an important role in letting me know that this is important. So, I would say that various websites that we have on the internet, whatever you are learning, just go through whatever resources you can find online. For me, there were websites like Free Code Camp, YouTube tutorials, and Geeks for Geeks, Lead Code, CodeChef, Hacker, and everybody, uses these things.
So, great. What resources have you used to apply off campus, and any rejections faced earlier?
Oh, a lot of rejections. So I start by the most important one. So I interviewed at Google twice this year, and I reached the hiring committee round both the times, but I got rejected. So I'll just go through a few of things. The off-campus internships are majorly off-campus internship plus placement, whatever you choose. They are basically, so something that you're not doing from your college, but even if you're trying from your end, companies will look at you the same way. Like they're coming on campus almost the same way. The 1 or 2 interviews are less in that case, but almost the same way. So the first step, that is a major step, is to apply on their careers page, because that is the most easiest and the most safest option that you have. The second part I used was the LinkedIn jobs option. I used to create alerts for all the roles that I liked. I used to have those daily reminders, and I used to be aware of the opportunities opening up. Apart from that, I was signed up on a few platforms, including Indeed, TechGig, a few other, I think PrepInsta, and all these various websites. So basically what they do is they kind of keep you updated with all the opportunities coming up. Even you share a lot of opportunities for off-campus people. So you just have to be aware of these things using social media, and maybe Telegram. People are actually joining Telegram channels now for these updates. So you just have to find new ways and keep looking for it. About the rejections part, I would say that you just need one yes for you. You can't accept all the jobs that you have. Even if you get accepted into 5 companies, at the end of the day, you have to say yes to only one. So it doesn't matter if you have 1 or if you have 5 in your hand. What matters is the quality of, what you appear for and what you gain from that. So if I say that I was rejected by Google, I won't say that it disheartened me or it didn't dishearten me. It actually made me better. It actually made me, more okay in giving interviews. So when I was interviewing for American Express, I knew that I'm cool enough, I'll just go and I'll put my best foot forward and I'll see what happens. So rejection is just a part of the journey that you go through.
Yeah, exactly. So specifically, which DSA topics were covered during your technical interviews?
So in my interviews, specifically for the American Express one, the first interview was very DSA specific. Like they asked me to code a few problems. They also asked me, they gave me a problem and they asked if BFS would be better or DFS would be better and why. They also asked me questions related to, the syntax and stuff. Like, whatever language you're comfortable, just write it in the chat box. Just show me how you'd write that. So apart from that, I think trees, stacks, graphs, maps, all of them were asked in my first interview. In the second interview, there were questions on DSA and they asked me specific algorithms as well, but it was more concerned related to the projects that I worked on and what my internships, what I did in my internships and the technical skills that I have written in my resume. They were kind of keen in asking about it. So if I have operating system written in my resume, they know that I am strong in operating system and they can ask me questions related to that. So I would say 25% was DSA.
Okay. And any system design question was asked during your interviews?
No, not really. So there was this one part where there was this one part in the HR round where the engineering director, she was keen on asking me if I was versatile enough to use different tech stacks. If I have worked on one, she was interested in knowing if I'm capable of working on the other. So she tried and gave me, real life situations where I had, she gave me a hypothetical applications idea and I had to show them what designing strategies I would use. So that was kind of related to system design, but not purely into that.
Okay. So, according to you, which thing in your resume made you stand out from others?
I think the part where I have my projects and the part where I have my internships. So my experience spoke a lot about me in the like the interviews in my American Expresses, because what happened was there was this in the second round of interview, when they were actually going through the resume, they were actually appreciating the fact that I have already worked on the big data domain previously. So I am in the big data domain as well. So they just knew that if that person is capable enough of working into 4 to 5 different domains, so she'll be a good fit for our company. So that is a part I think that played a great role.
Okay. So according to you, CGPA matters or not? There's a myth among students about this as well.
I would say that CGPA doesn't matter, because if you follow the minimum criteria, it is not looked upon later on. If you have the minimum eligibility, you're okay with that. But I think CGPA plays one, like if I were to see somebody's resume and judge them on the basis of their CGPA, I would say that this person is not capable of, time management and doesn't, care about what other people are saying. If a teacher is concerned about you and if she or she is giving you assignments, you have to try and tackle it out and complete it on time so that you get a good GPA. So I think the only factor that it shows is you're not, worried about your college grades, and you don't know how to manage time. Apart from it, I think it doesn't matter.
Okay, great. So like according to you, which should be given more preference, projects or competitive programming, or a student should keep a balance between the two?
I think a person should keep a balance between the two, because what happens is if you're not good at CP, or if you haven't really tried it, you won't be able to clear the online tests, because they have time constraint. They are, you're competing with other people at the end of the day. So even if you have a good resume, like in my case, I did have a good resume, but I wasn't able to compete with a lot of people if I didn't have, a CP background. Maybe if I hadn't tried it. So the time constraint matters, and like when you read those questions, when you see you have a particular input and output, you haven't really practiced it in college. So you have to go through those phases. You have to at least know how to submit a solution, how to do the part. So I think practicing CP is good for having a balance, and you can just side by side do your development and everything. Ranking doesn't matter; those ratings don't matter. So just go with that and just practice it if you can.
Great. So lastly, any advice for the juniors?
I would just say that, don't underestimate yourself. If you like something, if you're aiming for something, just go with that and try it out. The least that could happen, the worst that could happen is that you won't be selected for that process. But the best thing that could be is that you will be on another level. What 2020 taught me was that I participated in a few hackathons. I hadn't won any of them previously. So when I put my leg forward and I tried it out in my third year, I knew that I was trying something new, and I didn't know that if I would succeed or not. I ended up, winning those hackathons, and I gained confidence. I tried to apply for scholarships. I gained confidence. So, you have to apply for those things. You have to try it out. If you apply to 50 different things and you earn 2 of them only, so that will actually help you. So just don't underestimate yourself and just try it out.
Great, man. Great. It was a great session. Even I learned a lot from it. And thank you for your time and all the best for your journey ahead, Kashish. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.
आई होप आपको वीडियो बहुत पसंद आया होगा. बहुत सारी चीज़ें जानने को मिली होगी. मुझे काफ़ी चीज़ें जानने को मिली एक्चुअली. तो अगर आपको अभी भी वो सब्सक्राइब का बटन रेड दिख रहा है तो प्लीज़ उसे ग्रे कर दो और सब्सक्राइब कर लो चैनल को, क्योंकि इंटरव्यू और अपॉर्चुनिटी से रिलेटेड आपको वीडियोज़ यहाँ पे मिलते रहते हैं और भी बहुत सारा बेहतरीन कंटेंट आ रहा है. तो स्टे ट्यून एंड मिलते हैं ऐसे अगले किसी वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर.